According to Calvin Henlick, who wrote the article, Test Less, in 2016, students take between 20 and 25 hours of standardized testings throughout one school year, with a peak of 25.3 hours in 8th grade. I am currently a college student who has gone through the recent years of the high school testing. Looking back on what I experienced, I really struggled, and when high school neared the end, I really second-guessed going to college because more schooling just seemed so overwhelming at that point. These kids are our future, and we need to provide them with the best education and teach them to learn to love learning again. I hope to persuade my audience today to stand up and stand against this heavy load of testing. Today I will be discussing the negative effects that these state tests bring upon both students and teachers, what parents can do to make a change, and how learning will change for the better if these tests are no longer the #1 priority. First, we are going to look into how students and teachers feel about these tests. According to Pro-Con organization, standardized tests have been a part of American education since the mid-1800s. Their use skyrocketed after the 2002's No Child Left Behind mandated annual testing in all 50 states. Sandra Stotsky, who wrote the article Testing Limits in 2016, says that critics claim these tests reduce education to a limited range of skills, ignore the importance of comprehension, and neglect subjects that are not tested, such as history, civics, geography, and arts. One student from Barton Elementary said, "I don't like it when you already know the answer to something, but have to show the 6 steps required, instead of doing it my way. It's so frustrating for these students to be put in this tiny box of rules. So many students are filled with bright ideas to solutions, but are limited to only what the test wants to see from them." Teachers are not able to teach important life skills in real education because they are put under strict guidelines for preparing their students to ace these tests. They're also put under a lot of stress to make sure that everyone passes or the teacher endures the consequences. This is a rapidly increasing issue, and although it may seem we are in deep, it's never too late to make a change. In order to turn around education and steer it towards the right direction again, there needs to be plans brought into action. In a recent article, U.S. News and World Report, education correspondent Allie Bidwell writes that tens of thousands of parents and students are engaging in civil disobedience across the nation by refusing to participate in federally mandated standardized tests. Thousands of students and parents across the state are refusing to take these new tests that are going to require 11 hours of seat time over 9 days. The good thing is that most people are on the same page when it comes to the disagreement about these tests. Parents are voicing their opinions for their children's sake, and it's time to sit down and think about your experiences when it comes to this test, or how your child feels before, during, and after these tests, and write them in a letter and send them to the state. We can take this matter one step further when it comes to showing them our disagreement. These letters can be a wake-up call to today's education. Whether it's writing a letter or participating in a protest, show them that these kids are more than just test-taking machines. Let's now imagine learning without the stress of cramming for these tests. A study by Tanya R. Moon reported that 75% of elementary teachers would give greater emphasis to basic skills instruction, vocabulary lists, word recognition skills, and paper and pencil computation than they would if there were no mandated tests. Most teachers are teaching for the test, and once it's over they pretty much stop, and a lot of the kids are catching on to this. A teacher from Barton Elementary School said she had a remark from one of her students saying that the test is over, why do we even have to do any work? These students have been taught by routine that the test is all that matters. The only reason they are sitting in this classroom is to learn how to take this test and be done. If that isn't a wake-up call, I don't know what is. This would not be the case if these tests were lessened or better yet, gone. High school students need to be prepared for entering the real world, but instead they walk into this next chapter of their life with the great skills of test taking, and that's about it. Imagine how well-rounded these students could be if these schools focused more on preparing them for their future. Standardized tests are taking away the importance of learning and causing students and teachers anything but a better education. I hope I have persuaded you to stand up for a better education and for the future of these kids. Yes, students take a lot of tests, and it causes a lot of stress and hatred towards school, but it also is taking away the most important part of learning. Teachers are affected just as much, and it has come down to making the decision to fight for this, for the kids who hold our future. Take a stand, be bold. Don't let your child take these tests or write a letter to the state explaining your disagreement. The best thing you can do is let them know what these kids are really missing out on because they're too busy cramming to know how to fill in an A through D answer sheet. Kids who are willing and engaged in learning are going to be the kids who grow up to make a difference in this world. Kids who are full of knowledge to survive out in the real world, not just knowing how to take a test.